Now, other things the council is working on in the business association are trying to address the housing, the treatment, you want to talk about that briefly, Christopher?
First, I will, but first, why don't you, if you don't mind, kind of walk through, we have a month or 6 weeks, and kind of your vision of how we'll get from here, with everybody with all these questions and attitudes and opinions, to a finished process that we can all agree on.
Well, yeah, if you want to explain the public safety process.
I think we're going to have a series of meetings with the stores. We're going to have to meet with our legislator. Are we going to be our assembly member? Are we going to be able to do all that in the context of 2 committee meetings like this? No way. So we're going to have a bunch of smaller meetings. That's what I'm suggesting. Subcommittees. This is going to be a lot of work for people, so I'm glad that so many of you are here, so we can kind of spread it out so that we're not all overburdened. Do you have any comments that you want to add to your role?
No, not right now.
Okay, yeah.
Why do you need our help to inform you as to how to run your business?
Well, I mean, we're here in good faith as part of the process we agreed to be. That's the bottom line. We agreed to be part of a process where there were some concerns that came up from the APD, from the community. We're trying to do our part in that process. It's ours. I think you got a great point. We can do everything inside. We can do everything inside, and we may never fix the greater problem. We're going to do everything we can inside the store, and that's what we're here to do. I don't know where this process goes.
Yeah, do you have corporate resources you can call in to help figure this out?
As far as what?
As far as the internal functioning, complying with the law, all the things we're
I think we do comply with the law.
Huh?
I think we do comply.
No, maybe that's the issue. If you're complying as best you can. And, this goes back to 2001. If you've been doing all this stuff.
Actually,
There are a couple of hands, so Linda
and actually
maybe we can get into talking about the conditional use.
okay, and actually I was going to address this. In part of talking about the conditional use, are we going to talk about the areas that they have not, and we have documentation that they have not been doing what they're supposed to be doing? Because when you said that you've been following the law, you've been selling to inebriates. It says absolutely no sale to inebriates will be allowed at any time. They have you on video doing that.
Right?
So that's,
okay. I'm not going to get into
well, if you're not going to get into that, then how are we going to actually go through these terms and conditions?
We've already provided some of the steps that we've taken to move forward.
Well, I think you probably need to, who have you provided those to?
Well, you haven't even allowed us an opportunity to do that.
Right, I just wanted to.
Okay, I'm just
Linda, your
asking,
comment,
I'm
and then
asking.
Dan, and then Rob, maybe
The question I'm asking is, so will we be also able to discuss the areas that, I mean, if you're going to talk about the terms and conditions, let's also talk about the areas where they have not complied since 2001.
I think we're getting ahead here.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, but, I think so far from what I've heard, this is a great process. And, CARS is here in good faith to work with us. And I would hope that this process, I think that Sharon just described, seems like a pretty good process. But I would just hope that, we're all neighbors. CARS is our neighbor. Everyone here is our neighbor. And I would just hope that we all work together. And it may be that it doesn't work, like Sharon had talked about. And we still have a problem on 13th and Campbell. I'm not real optimistic. I've been, trying to help improve 13th and Campbell for a long, long time. But the process, I think, right now, what Sharon just laid out, is a very good process. But CARS, a lot of people that work at CARS are my friends. I go and I shop and I say hello. I really like CARS. The liquor store, it's a poison. It's a sickness. A lot of people can't handle it. But I just hope that we treat, I guess Paul, I think his name is, I'm not sure, but we treat everyone with respect and we're all neighbors trying, I think, to solve the same problem. How do we help 13th and Campbell, be a better, safer place for everybody? My comment.
Patty and then Linda.
Pat Cucina and I brought the original proposed resolution forward. And part of my yes we can speech was we have really no say over APD's budget. We don't have any say, really, over the mayor's budget. We don't have any say over social service agencies, the success or failure thereof. But the one piece of this we do have is the public is entrusted and empowered to review liquor licenses. So right now, to my mind, that's the one piece that we're looking at. We're looking at the liquor stores. So I agree with Sharon that I don't know if the conditional use permit process is the answer. But I do know that we have a major, major, major problem. And we can come up with a really good conditional use document. The one, after a little bit of research, I found out that the two documents we're going to look at tonight, it's got about as much, you could blow holes through it. So we could do better, and I think that's why we're here tonight.
If we came up with the best
It's the first
possible
step.
conditional use thing, what would I see? What outcomes would I see 2 blocks away, or when I drive through? What would I expect?
Let's find out. Anything is better than what we have right now, so let's find
Yeah,
out.
this is I see this every day.
I see that too.
Out my bedroom window. See an ASP picking up a guy next to the dumpster, I
Yeah.
see this every day.
Let's find out.
If I could see that, maybe only 3 times a month instead of 12 times a month, that would be
We can build that in as a goal.
significant improvement.
We can build that in as a goal, is fewer inebriates picked up in the neighborhood. But let's
Yeah,
find
but I
out.
think that needs to be written into it. So whatever's going on inside, we need to see
Yes.
dramatic results,
Yes.
outcomes
We can talk
within a 6-block
We
area.
can talk about measures that we can use to monitor, to assess whether the liquor stores are doing what they said they would do. That's essentially the work of this committee over the next few months, at least as far as this task of the committee. In my mind, it's just focused on the liquor stores. The outside things, that's another issue that I personally have a problem holding a business that's doing business legally accountable for the activity of, self-actualizing adults. Well, maybe they're not all self-actualizing, but they're, can a business stop people from loitering? No. Can a business stop people from making choices that lead them to hang on the street all day? Well, perhaps, but I mean, so I guess I'm concerned when you say the measure of success is the inebriates go away or they stop drinking, because I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Something like a 50% reduction in 911 calls. Just a dramatic change in what we see.
Why don't we put that on the agenda for next month to talk about?
Why not put it on for tonight? You don't have a written agenda. Let's put that on there for tonight.
Is that the will? Is that
No.
what people
No.
want?
The conditional use-
First,
Okay.
it's steps,
Linda,
it's how
and
it
then-
has to be
Yeah, but
done.
most groups like
Okay.
this, the chair presents an agenda, the group approves the agenda, and then
I
we
can
follow
write the
it.
agenda on here. Is that what you would like? And then we can vote on the
That's
agenda.
what I'm used to, but, what's the agenda?
I stated what the agenda would be. Can I-
Conditional
should I write
use
it on?
permits tonight.
Linda?
Okay, my turn. I think that if you want to, there's already an improvement out there, okay? This is now getting a lot of attention. I'm very involved in the politics, especially locally. This is now getting, people who have not been willing to talk about this before are now talking about it. If you saw the paper today, Mountain View Community Council is doing basically the exact same thing. I lived in Mountain View for many years, and I lived right in between those 2 liquor stores, okay? So I'm very familiar with this whole scenario, and they're looking at all of this, okay? As you know, the alcohol lobby in this state is very powerful. But when enough people start talking about it and start doing something about it, and other people see that that can happen, that they have a voice in it, that's very much progress. That's very much a beginning step. And that's when the assembly will start taking a look at this as well. So that's how this process, doing this conditional use, because that is the power that you guys have, is the conditional use and what your decisions are on that, so.
Okay. First for Heidi and
Well,
then.
yeah, Linda, you said exactly what I would have said in that any objection to utilizing the conditional use obviates the need for this meeting, because our tool of action is the conditional use process. And what we're attempting to establish through this process is an evidentiary chain that says we have attempted to communicate the problem, and they have attempted to correct the problem, and this is what has flowed out of that process that then goes to the assembly in their process of asking for the review and renewal of their license. And so if we don't do this work and we just say we don't need to deal with conditional use, then we'll have nothing to stand with when we go before the body. And so the theory behind this whole process is to come together, address what's here, what's not here, add what we determine needs to be added, challenge the provider, the package store, to actually live up to that. And if that works, it works. And if it doesn't, then we have that conversation in the fall, you know, because that's how the timing is going to work. You know, we have to give everyone a good faith opportunity. And so that's why we're here, I think.
I was just going to say pretty much the same thing. Linda is absolutely correct. I've been doing this, the Lucky Wishbone is my business. And I've been doing this since we dealt with Carluck Manor and became a member of the Community Council, became a member of the Business Association for that very reason. And when we first started this, it was all push, push, push. We have had more success coming in with solutions rather than going at it as in, this is our problem, this is our problem, this is our problem, what are you going to do? As a council, as a business association, people are listening to us now because we come with solutions. We don't come with a problem that we don't have some ideas to deal with. We start with one and we keep building on, and we've been doing that for several years now, and we're getting someplace. They're calling us and asking us to come speak at meetings before the assembly, before the Chamber of Commerce. They're calling us now. We aren't saying, listen to us, we're over here in Fairview. They're coming to us and asking our opinion. It's starting with one step and going forward. You have to come with the solutions or nobody listens. We learned that very quickly. And we are being heard for the first time in a long time. We're being heard. It's taking way longer than any of us want it to. It takes a long time. It's like banging your head against the wall, but if you stop banging your head, you get nowhere. We are accomplishing things, but we're doing it step by step by bringing solutions, not just problems.
Anna?
Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation that's going on, and I just wanted to add too that this isn't just a Fairview problem, it's an Anchorage problem, and that's why I'm here, and I'm really glad you brought up the Mountain View article. And just to say that this, like you said, this is the mechanism by which we can start thinking about addressing these problems. And Spinard's been dealing with the same thing. I'm not saying we have the right answers, you know, but we're still thinking, and the more that we can all have a unified voice, that this is something that needs to be dealt with so that people don't just shift somewhere else, or that it's not just all on the business owners. You know, it really is kind of a citywide thing. So again, I'm here to kind of build a bridge with another community council that's dealing with this.
Yeah, Claire.
I've lived here since 1955, and there were a group of 5 of us, all residents of this area, that worked at getting rid of the Nevada Tavern, which was at the corner there of 13th and Gamble, right across from Cars. Any of you that have been here around that long know that. And we worked for over a year, and I won't even tell you where all of this went to, because it went a long, long ways up the chain. And we did get rid of it. And we thought, well, we'll get some nice buildings in there, which we have nice buildings on both sides of that, where that used to be. And those buildings, the one is now empty. The other one is just about empty because the people do not wish to be in there because of what's on the corner there. And I don't have all the answers, I know that, but I am at the point where I